That's okay. Is it recording?
Yes.
It is? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. All right. My name is William Clayton, and this is for Management 381 Principles of Management. Here is my ID. I hope that's focused well enough. You can see William Clayton on my driver's license and on my student ID and my face. So we're going to start this semester. We have covered many different things in the management course. I'm just putting my license and ID back in my wallet. Um, some of the high points that I wanted to talk about, I just made some notes on my phone, was things that affect everyone. Management affects everyone, but these are things that I wanted to talk about. We see things like the glass ceiling. People talk about the glass ceiling and how since the women's rights movement, the glass ceiling is in many companies, and especially in America, the glass ceiling has been shattered where you have a female CEO or female CFO, high-ranking company management officials who are female, and so the glass ceiling is not in effect in those companies at all. And that is a really great thing, because a lot of times, you know, people have ideas. It doesn't matter their gender at all, and it shouldn't matter. And it's a great thing that since the '60s has been moving forward, really since the '20s, when the women's workforce really began to leave the home and go into the workforce because of World War One. And you had, then after the war was over, you had the flappers and everything like that, and you saw how they were coming out and coming into earning workplace equality with their male counterparts. Still, we have some pay inequality across the board, with females getting paid 70 cents on compared to a man getting paid $1. So whereas each dollar a man earns, a woman earns 70 cents for that same dollar for the same amount of work and the same quality of work. But that is going away, and we're seeing it go away more and more each time. And the more companies can do, and the more managers can do, and how they manage the situation, it will expedite the process of it going away. And the quality of the work determines the pay, and not the person doing the work. And so in that way, the glass ceiling can go away and never, hopefully will never be an issue. And I know that with a lot of American companies, it's that way, and it's getting that way around the world in some areas. Another point I wanted to talk about was with diversity. We have seen a lot of diversity with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, and seeing companies adhere to that and have incentives for how to bring in minorities and take in their ideas and become socially aware of the minorities and how they can affect and help businesses grow. And using those tools, you see how using the diversity and having diversity in your business is a really good thing. All of these points, you get into it and you find where there's many companies whose CEO is African American or of another minority, and now I guess you could call him the manager of our company as a country is half African American, President Obama. And we see how the what's the word I'm looking for? The quality of the work is the same. It should be respected the same. And using diversity and hiring diverse peoples will bring in more of this, well, you become a more globally conscious company doing that. Environmental responsibility is another point I wanted to hit on, because with being in a management position, at a company, if your company is, harming the environment, there are steps that you have to take to um, make sure that your company is actually being environmentally responsible. And we've seen great strides with organizations like the EPA um, coming in and setting standards, and we've seen companies drop their emission rates. I won't name the company, but we've seen them drop their emission rates since the 70s by 70%, I believe was the figure that um, I read. And so while their automobiles are making less emissions and a smaller carbon footprint, and that's the goal, that should be the goal of every company, is to have a small carbon footprint, but still be effective. And many automakers are are trying to make the shift to using electric cars and hybrid cars. You see that with Toyota, you see it with Chevrolet. Volkswagen has a e-Golf is it e-Golf? Well, it's e-something, and it's a completely electric car. And you see a lot of supermarkets, namely Whole Foods, who has, I was actually in Jackson a couple of weeks ago for a wedding, and I saw outside of Whole Foods, they offer a car charging station for your electric car. You pull in, you plug your car in, it charges it while you shop, and it doesn't cost you anything. And that's, I think that goes back to being environmentally responsible, because that supermarket works on the premise of, using non-red listed fish, organic products, things of that nature. And so they encourage other people, and in that encouraging them to use electric cars by offering those charging stations. And another part of management I wanted to talk about was selecting people for teamwork. I want to talk about how teamwork it's obviously a huge part of management, selecting the right people for the right teams and how to do so, and make sure, that the project is going to get done on time and correctly. And in doing so, you have to pick the right people to do the job, and they have to be people that can work together compatibly. And one way to do that, our book talks about using a team player inventory. It's a 10-question survey to have the people, you talk about, or, to have you look at and grade each person on their effectiveness in certain areas, and then you can make a team with those people. Out of that really helps making sure that the teams are going to be compatible, and will also ensure that the teams are going to be what is the word I'm looking for? Not profitable. Well, they're going to be productive. Productive was the word I was looking for in that. So you want the teams to be productive, and in selecting the right team members with the right personalities to work together, they will be put together well enough to get the jobs done that you need done, and keep everyone on task. In some of the case studies that we talked about Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and it's actually one of the case studies that I sent in, that I did one of the 4 case studies I chose to write an analysis on, and 4 different types of the leadership styles that they talked about. One of them that Enterprise uses was the laissez-faire, which is French for leave alone, and that style of management. And using that allows the employees of their company to use their own personal conscience to choose projects to work on in the community. And in working on the community, they help expand their base and their community relations. So they're able to work with the community and help everyone in the community grow. And then there's incentives from management on how to make those projects better, and then they have rewards, and the rewards of giving, like, it was £10,000 to the Southern Europe Division of Enterprise that they gave for participating and winning the project a couple of years ago. And in doing so, they're giving them extrinsic motivation, but pairing it with the intrinsic motivation of the employees. And the management has found a good fit for that, with giving rewards, but also relying on the employees to use their own creativity to make strides forward in community relations. Thank you again. My name is William Clayton, and I was a student in management, the Principles of Management, MGT 381, in the fall of 2014. Just the red button.